Alright, you guys, so I have had some time to think, some time to go over it with my research team, and I think I finally have definitive positions for all the new weapons, in particular the bow staff, in Dueling Grounds. Which means, yes, it is another tier list video.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But I think there's quite a lot of changes I want to make from my last tier list videos. A lot of weapons I think are much better now, and some weapons I did underrate and even overrate. So, if you like today's video, you know what to do: like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, let's get straight into the rankings. Alright, so here we are. As always, we have our first tier being absolutely Dueling Grounds, second tier being I, and the last tier being mid. But what's different today is I've got needs buffs, because I feel like there's a weapon in here that to me needs a buff quite desperately, I think. But without further ado, I think I'm going to start with the newly released public weapon that being the curved swords. Now, I remember when I was playing when the curved swords came out, I was quite indifferent on them. I thought it boasts a different playstyle than it currently does. I remember in my first initial thoughts video with the curved swords, I did mention that its matchup with the Naginata and the Gauntlets was horrid. Terrible matchup to come up against. I don't think that's changed too much. I did remember saying that, for applying pressure, neutral game, all that, it's very good. Would I say it's top tier, top of the line? I'm not too sure, honestly. I think it honestly retains its place in I. I don't think it's nowhere near the best weapon in the game in my opinion, but I don't think it's that bad to be in mid, if you get what I'm trying to say. For our next weapon, I think great, even good to start with the dual daggers. I think it's a very good beginner friendly weapon. If you're starting out on Dueling Grounds, if there was any weapon I'd recommend, it would be the Katana, the dual daggers. Is the dual daggers as good as I used to say in the previous tier list videos? I'm not too sure. Every subsequent weapon that's come out since, I would say maybe like the Katana Naginata, I think the Nagi dropped day one actually, I can't even remember. The timeline's all messed up, but since the Kusarigamas in particular, I think the dual daggers have gotten like worse and worse. It's got a lot of bad matchups nowadays, I would say. And obviously now with the release of the bow staff, is another semi-long range weapon. It now kind of ruins the dual daggers approach to neutral. And to me, they are very easy to parry. I think of all the weapons I face on Dueling Grounds, the dual daggers are the easiest to parry and learn its parry timing. And I think they usually are quite an easy matchup with most weapons in this game. I think it has, unfortunately, our first mid placement of the video. Does it need a buff? I'm not too sure. I think they're in a good spot, I guess, but because every other weapon that's coming out currently in the game is long ranged, it kind of feels weak. But I think if we get more shorter range weapons like a Gauntlet, for example, it could start to see its place return to the I absolutely Dueling Grounds type of placement. We just need shorter range weapons, that's all. So people then move towards that, and then that opens up the Dueling Grounds. Dueling Grounds, the dual daggers to be very good again. For our next weapon, I want to go with the Gauntlets, because my last ranking video, I put them in mid. I thought it was terrible, mid, this, that. Honestly, I've had a change of heart. I have had absolute change of heart. I see what people say when they say they're very good. They're not mid. I thought they was, but I've been proven so wrong. I've been testing it. I've changed my tune, I think. So now on initial viewing, when you're viewing the animations of the Gauntlets, to me it looks slow, but when you look at the actual speed of the attacks, it is the fastest in the game, and it's crazy. It is just crazy. I was using it in ranked off camera, and wow, I've become a Gauntlet truther, I can't lie, guys. I think these weapons in particular are definitely the most underrated weapon I have personally underrated, in my opinion. And for that, I think we have our first absolutely Dueling Grounds. What a weapon. What a weapon. Like, its matchups against the Katana, that interaction surprised me tons. Very, very, very good to match up against the Katana. I was thinking there's not many weapons that do like put in work against them, but the Gauntlets do. So for our next weapon, I think I'm gonna go with the newest weapon, the bow staff. So I had a lot of thoughts. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's a skill issue, but I was not impressed at all with the bow staff. Its pros, I would say, are it is an easy weapon to have a counter-attacking playstyle, like the dual daggers, for example. But I think unlike the dual daggers, you can't apply that similar level of pressure that you can with the dual daggers with the bow staff. So it is hard to keep up in a fight, and I would say as well, it doesn't do enough stagger damage in my opinion. Maybe it's because you need to counterattack more, I need to have more patient playstyle with it, but that is not how I personally play Dueling Grounds. I don't think it's terrible, but if I was hopping on ranked and I want to win games, I would not pick the bow staff. And for that reason, I think it is our first weapon that goes into needs buffs. I think either the attack speed needs to go up a bit more, or its stagger damage a bit more. Something has to give, I think, with the bow staff. I'm not too happy with them currently. Maybe it'll change, we shall see, but currently I think it needs buffs. Now that leaves us with the last four. So we've got the Katana, Kasaris, the Nagi, and the Warhammer. I think I'm going to go with the Warhammer next. So with the Warhammers, I think it's alright in all its matchups, I would say. I don't think the hardest weapon to play against. It's not a weapon that strikes fear into you, but a good Warhammer player would and can cook you with jump attacks. But I don't think it's top tier. I think that to be honest, I don't know. Well, I don't face Warhammer players that often anymore. But I don't know, they're alright, man, they're alright. I don't think it's mid. I think I'll go bottom of For our next weapon, I think I'm going to go with the Katana. So I feel like with all these ranking videos, I feel like the Katana will always be absolutely Dueling Grounds. I think it's the most versatile weapon. It can and will go band for band with any weapon in this game in any matchup. Obviously, there are worse matchups for it, the Gauntlet's Kasaris, but I think it'll always be a steady Eddie Dueling Grounds weapon. Like, you can easily get to top of the ladder, top of the leaderboards and all that with the Katanas. And again, like with the Katana, its light attacks every single time are just really good. As long as they remain good, I think it'll always have a place in absolutely Dueling Grounds. So I'm going to leave my favourite weapons till last, but I want to do the Naginata. So with the Naginata, it has its matchups where it's really good, it cooks. But is it crazy to say that, I don't know, I don't think that, I'm not going to put it in mid. I think it's I. Let me just place in I think middle of I, but I think there's a way you can play against Nagi players that you can pretty much control the game as long as you don't throw every single time. Like, as a Kasari Gamma player, I think as long as I'm not rusty, not lagging, not anything, there's no unfavourable elements in my favour, I can and will control the game against a Naginata player. Because there is just one playstyle they have to play with the Nagis to cook like crazy. And if you know how to play against that, I think you can control the game quite well. I'm not saying it's impossible to lose to a Naginata player, but I don't think they're like the craziest weapon like that anymore. Like I was saying, if we get more short weapons, that's where I feel like the Naginata, the bow staff, can come back into the meta and become higher tiered weapons. It's just that we're not getting short ranged weapons. That would prompt people to play more short range weapons to allow maybe like the dual daggers to come back into the meta. in my opinion. But yeah, that is what it is. For our last weapon, obviously we have the Kasarigamas. As a Kasarigama main, I could just, the way you can control the range, the matches, it's unbelievable. There's a level of control you get, I feel, at least with the Kasarigamas, I don't get with any other weapon. To me, I would put it in absolutely Dueling Grounds. I don't think, off the top of my head, there's like many matchups where I'm like, it's over when I'm using the Kasarigamas. Whereas if I was using like a dual daggers or something, or bow stuff, I'd be like, yeah, it's over. If I'm gonna rearrange them, I think I'll put Kasari's second. Ooh, I don't know if I put them first. I think the gauntlets are undisputed best weapons in the game. The curved sword, I think. Ooh, no. I don't know if I'd make the curved sword second or first. I think the pressure you can apply with curved swords is almost second to none. Only the dual daggers can apply more pressure in such a short period of time, but it's just getting inside with people with the dual daggers is the issue. I think I'll leave it top of that. And then the bow staff needs buffs. I don't think it's the worst weapon in the game, but I think it just needs a little bit of help. And it can easily go in eye or even bottom of absolutely Dueling Grounds. But that is pretty much it for the ranking. If you agree with me, you disagree with me, let me know down below. I'll be looking at every comment, taking in all your opinions. Let me know where I went wrong if I did. Let me know what you agree with. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So yeah, peace.